Jain, Professor Christopher Jain Miller here at Arihanta Institute. I'm Professor of Jain and Yoga Studies, and I'm VP of Academic Affairs here. And what I want to do in this video is briefly tell you a little bit about my background, my research interests, what I teach, and what brought me here to Arihanta Institute to do all of these things. When I was quite young, as an undergraduate, exploring the world, getting to know myself as we all do, I took a course that was an introduction to Indic religious traditions. I was exposed to Hinduism, Buddhism, and then this third tradition that I had never heard of, Jainism. I really was captivated by the Jain tradition. Why? Because of all the traditions, it promoted this idea of nonviolence, ahimsa, in a way that I had never seen before. In fact, in my whole life, I can't remember ever being introduced to the idea of nonviolence being an option in life until I took this course. I was immediately struck by that, captivated by this notion of what it would mean to embody nonviolence, slowly and incrementally trying to bring it into my own life. And as I graduated with my degree in accounting and went to work in public accounting as a CPA, a certified public accountant, the seed that had been planted in me in studying this tradition and studying ahimsa started to grow. That seed grew so much that I could no longer deny it, and I went on to study a master's degree in comparative theology, and I also got a master's degree in religious studies. During that time, I studied both the Jain tradition and the yoga tradition. Took many trips to India, interacting with members of the Jain community, various yoga teachers, practicing yoga and meditation, learning everything I could, and experiencing the culture, the anthropological, the ethnographic dimensions of these traditions. I eventually went on to do a PhD in yoga studies and also studied on the side Jain studies. So I had these two parallel interests that were going at the same time, pretty much throughout my entire graduate studies. When I finished my graduate degree from the University of California at Davis, I published my first book, Embodying Transnational Yoga, Eating, Singing, and Breathing in Transformation, to look at the various ways that yoga practitioners eat, the various ways that they sing, and the various ways that they breathe. And I did that in very particular ethnographic field sites where I was doing ethnographic field work, interviewing people, engaging in the practices myself, and writing up something that is hopefully compelling for scholars of modern yoga studies to consider, because usually in yoga studies, we talk about asana and postures. And as we know, there's so much more beyond all of that. So I highly recommend that you read this book if you want to get a sense of that trajectory of how I came to that point of researching these traditions, practicing them, and writing about them. I also became increasingly interested in the world that we're in today for understanding how we could improve it through yogic principles and most especially through Jain principles. And as I began to teach Jain studies at the university and became vegetarian before that, I was eventually inspired to become vegan by the Jain vegans in the UK during their Give Up Dairy for Paryushan campaign. I started to care more about animals. I started to care more about the environment. I started to care more about others and social justice. And all of this culminated in the work that we do here at Arihanta Institute today, where we try to apply Jain principles of nonviolence, compassion, and so forth to the biggest and most pressing issues of our time. So I teach courses in yoga studies and Jain studies where we talk about these manifold issues all the time. And these are both self-study courses that I teach and also graduate studies courses. And so at Claremont School of Theology, in their MA in Engaged Jain Studies track, I serve on that faculty where I teach Jain studies and engage Jain studies, as well as modern yoga studies, to help students really truly understand how they can better themselves, how they can improve their own well-being, how they can improve their engagement with the world, and how they can inspire social change to make the world a better place in the incredibly troubling times in which we find ourselves. I really look forward to meeting you if we haven't met already, and I thank you for watching this video. I'd love to hear about your research interests and what it is that you like to do, so feel free to reach out to me here at Arihanta Institute. I look forward to hopefully seeing you soon in our classrooms. Jai Janendra.